Let's go. Turn up the volume. From the basement of the Empire State. This is the Basement Surge.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the Basement Surge, everybody. Oh my goodness. How's everybody doing? Thank you for joining me for a fresh episode of the Basement Surge. I'm very excited to be doing this episode because I have a special guest today. I have a good friend, Jason Portizzo. I've known him for a while now. You know, I met him through a friend of a friend of a friend through podcasting, and yeah, we have a lot in common, it turns out. But before we get started in today's episode, I want to make sure you guys are following us. We have a Facebook page, we have a Twitter page, we have an Instagram. So all the links to everything, all the links to all of our socials are down in the show notes below. So go check it out. Hit that follow button, hit that plus button, hit whatever button you have to follow to make sure you get notified when we drop fresh episodes. Today we're talking all D&D. That's right, everybody. Dungeons and Dragons. I know. I'm geeking out a little bit because, you know, I love dragons and I love dungeons. So it's perfect. And Jason, he plays D&D. He DMs a game, and he's got a podcast totally dedicated to it that we're going to be talking about. So let's get into it. Jason, thank you very much for joining me today.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, it's great because the last time you and I spoke, we were actually talking podcasting.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking about how to podcast, you know, all the tech and all the lights and all the gear and everything that's needed.
We were talking about that at a time when all of that was changing and everything was new and fun. And it all changed again since then. So if you want to have that conversation over again, it'd be totally fresh.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, you know, it was at a time where it was like, you know, everybody was becoming a guru, everybody was becoming a coach, you know, and how to do this. And but I decided to, like, all right, let's get away from that a little bit. Let's do something a little bit more fun. And here we are.
What's more fun than getting wrapped up in endless tech?
Yeah.
And just chasing the next dopamine hit of your new microphone.
Well, Jason, you know, you and I might get a little high and off of that, but not everybody else, I guess. So
they're wrong. That's what it is.
Yeah. It was funny because right before the show, you and I were talking, and you were talking about your studio, man. You know, it's like you and I just revert totally back to, all right, you know, what's new? What do we got? You know, what are we gonna change? And
I'll give myself the excuse pretty often of, like, and I do this with all kinds of things too, where it's like, yeah, this is how I make my living. This is one of my income streams.
Yeah.
Which I'm lucky enough to be a fairly full-time podcast editor now. So, like, I can throw a lot of money into my workstation, and it's like, okay.
Wow. So you're a full-time podcast editor? That's awesome.
I would say if I'm counting like my actual jobs, I would say my full-time is split fairly evenly between podcast editing and like concert sound engineering. Wow. But I am a full-time audio engineer.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's awesome. Man, are you hiring?
I'm lucky to have the jobs I have, man. but we always need stagehands who want to unload trucks.
Yeah. Yeah. You must go to a lot of concerts.
I would say the most of them come to me, but no, I'm the in-house front of house tech for the Asbury Lanes in Asbury Park, New Jersey.
Okay.
And we get shows in the off season. We'll get shows on average maybe once or twice a week. And you know, we are in May 3rd right now, so we're about to start hitting our summer season.
Yeah.
And if you don't know Asbury Park, it's very much a shore town and very much a vacation tourist trappy type of spot. So once we hit Memorial Day weekend, it's just going to be like a faucet. We're just going to open it up with people and we're gonna have concerts, several days a week.
Awesome.
And yeah,
I
but,
remember
it's
I went
it's
to
a
go
living.
I went to go see America once and Jones Beach.
Okay.
And it was
They were at the Stone Pony pretty recently, which is 6 blocks away from the Asbury Lanes.
sweet. I like those old classic bands. I'm a I like classic rock and all the like 60s 70s music.
Sure.
So I don't know. If it was up to me, I'd go see John Denver, but it's kind of impossible. But
Nope. Can't do that one.
Oh man, but Jason, you've been kicking ass as far as podcasting goes because not only are you, I guess, editing basically half your time, but
Mhm.
you're also running a D&D podcast called Curmudgeons and Dragons.
Yeah, that show. We just hit episode 100 about a month or so
Wow.
ago. Yeah. Episode 107 comes out this. 108 comes out this weekend.
Wow. Congratulations, man. That's
Thank you.
awesome. Awesome.
It's 100's a lot. it's,
It's a lot.
it's a lot. You know the stats on like what the average amount of episodes is before a podcast quits.
Yeah, like 6.
It's 7. Yeah, yeah. It's like, and it's like, okay, if you make it past like 7 or even like 12, because like 7 is where most people realize like, oh, this is a lot of work and they just don't want to do it anymore.
Right.
12 or so is where they just like, it's up. The whole thing's about like one topic, and like 12 episodes is like they ran out of things to say about it.
Yeah, they had all this big idea saying, yeah, I can talk forever about this. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And like if you make it past 12 or 20 on any topic at all, you're already like worlds ahead of how many podcasts are on iTunes right now? Something like 2 million.
Yeah, a little bit over 2 million.
So like you're in the the top fraction of a percent of 2 million if you just cross 20.
Right.
And like the 100 club is fairly small.
Yeah.
So it's it was really cool, and it was we're really proud to be able to say that we crossed that.
Awesome. Wow.
Now we get the listenership up, that'd be even better, but
Oh, which I'm surprised about because D&D.
Yeah, me too.
It's pretty.
Yeah, me too.
known. You're like, yeah, I know. Shut up. Yeah.
Trust me, if I could have figured it out, I would have fixed it by now.
Yeah.
But no, we got some cool marketing pushes coming up. One of our co-hosts, Jim, is he's big into going to like gaming conventions.
Nice.
So he's got one in particular in New Jersey coming up. That's like it's a pretty small. I think I heard they're capping tickets at like 500 attendees.
Oh wow.
So it's a very small for a gaming convention.
Yeah.
Where like just put in perspective, like Gen Con, you'll get more than 500 just enrolled in the Vintage World Championships for Magic the Gathering.
Right.
Like that's not even one game is 500.
Right.
But we've got like we got some giveaways involved with that, and we've got some like public DM stuff that we're going to be doing, and trying to target specifically Dungeons and Dragons players.
Sweet.
Which
See, like I love D&D. All right, I've been playing. I want to say 10 years, maybe.
Cool.
I discovered it a little later in life because I know usually people start playing like in high school. But like Magic the Gathering, that's my jam. Like I play Magic for years. I forget if we talked about this last time, but that was a long time ago, so we might as well do it again. Sure.
But I traveled a lot, and I was like big in the competitive vintage scene
really?
for Magic the Gathering for a lot of years. I was a judge.
Oh wow.
I was a DCI judge for, let's see, I think I certified at the Kamigawa, like the first Kamigawa pre-release.
Yeah.
And right up until I stopped playing and I stopped being involved in 2011.
Okay. All right.
So like I forget what set had just come out, but I was playing pretty.
I think like Mirrodin or something like that.
There was a second Mirrodin. It was before the second Mirrodin. Right, there's 2 Mirrodin blocks?
I think so.
Okay, the first Mirrodin block is when I started getting competitive.
Okay.
And then the second Mirrodin block, I was already gone by then.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to run a blue-white deck control.
Mm-hmm.
And, I always kept my decks modern. So, I played modern,
There was
I had a lot of vintage cards, but I like I don't know. Like I sometimes I'd mix it up and pull out like a book burning or something like that.
I'm gonna date myself on this one. Modern wasn't a format when I stopped playing.
Yeah. See. Okay. There you go.
we had extended, man. All right. You weren't there.
Yeah.
You weren't there. You weren't. God, like what was like a couple of like extended decks that were just dominating around the time I stopped. There was like black green rock style decks.
Yeah.
That were just like there was a particular like Psychotog build that was just killing, and I don't even remember what else was popular.
My friend Frank used to run an elf deck.
Yeah, there was a couple of like elf combo you can do. There was Elf Ball starting getting popular again once they started breaking that open. But we were more into vintage. Like we had like any Mox tournament coming around, like the group that I played with and play tested with, like we would drive to these tournaments, hour, 2 hours away, and with a car full of 5 of us, knowing that at least 2 of us were going to be in the top 4.
Wow.
And we were pretty consistent, at least getting 2 of us in.
You're pretty confident too.
I made tons of top 8s, tons of top 4s. Only one actual win, but usually once you get to the finals, there's a split. But I would say like my biggest thing there was in Waterbury, Connecticut. There was the Monodrain Open. Okay. That was a big like vintage tournament that people would travel for, and like you can win buys by doing well in like smaller Mox tournaments and stuff. Mm-hmm. And there's I have a couple top 16s and top 8s there. I think the biggest one I put up was I think I top 4'd with a deck that was like gaining popularity. Mm-hmm. And like I saw like lists of it going around. Like most people named it after the guy who like designed the first version of the deck, and some people named it after me because I was the first one to put up numbers with it. Wow. So it wasn't a lot, but it was just kind of cool to see someone I didn't know calling this like Portiz or Goif.
Wow, man. Yeah. The decks I built, they were just basically like cards I'd put together. I didn't follow any lists online or anything.
Sure.
And I remember I got my wife into it, and we had went to a Friday Night Magic at a comic book store here in the neighborhood, and we got killed by like a 10-year-old kid.
Yeah. Yep.
And that was the extent of my Magic career. We kept playing it casual here in the house.
Playing with the casual cards that you love, and just the cards that you have, and like pretty artwork, or you just like the theme of how they all fit together. It's like, oh, I'm going to put all my angels together, and that's a deck now.
Right.
At your kitchen table and having fun, and that's totally cool. Right. And that is absolutely a way to play the game, and I'm not going to take that away from anybody. Yeah. But the second you start paying money to enter a tournament, the gloves are off.
Right. You have to use whatever cards are necessary.
Yeah. Say, listen, I'm here for the prize just as much as you are.
Right.
And if I got to stomp on a 10-year-old to get there, I'll get there. Yeah.
My wife went home that night. She's like, I can't believe I got beat by a 10-year-old.
Yep. Well, it's a strategy. It's a strategy game that he has nothing to do but go to school and read up about this game. Right. Now, if she loses to like an arm wrestling competition, then we could talk. But like this is like, of course you're going to lose to a 10-year-old.
Yeah. It's like playing Call of Duty nowadays. It's like, it's just,
At least in Magic, he's not going to call you something racist over your headphones.
Well, you'd be surprised. This kid, he was talking shit, man.
Sometimes you got to remind them that you're 3 times their size.
Yeah, but I guess.
I'm not saying hate a kid, but like, you can kick his chair out from under him or something. I don't know.
Right.
Make it look like an accident. Say whoops.
Yeah, whoops.
Yeah. So you should be careful, bud.
All right, so before we get started talking about D&D, I want to know what you're drinking over there.
I was really, really, really hoping you would ask, because I've been staring at this can for the last how long are we recording? 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I really just want to crack this thing open.
Go right ahead.
All right. So I was explaining this to you before, and I know we got video on the show, so this is great. So this is from Dewclaw Brewing, which comes out of Baltimore, Maryland. And I've had the earlier version of this beer before. There's it's a sour with this like edible glitter in it, and it's called Unicorn Farts. Which like between the glitter and the name and the fact that it's a sour and I just love sours, I had to have it, and it was good. I mean, like I've had better sours, but like the whole package was just great.
Yeah.
And I got a friend who gifted me this just yesterday, and this is the first one we're cracking. I was going to save it for my barbecue this weekend, but I want one all to myself. So this is their follow up. This is the Pastryarchy, also known as Unicorn Farts After Dark.
Wow.
Get the money shot right there. There we
go.
go.
Unicorn Farts After Dark.
Chocolate Cinnamon Crunch Breakfast Stout, which is some of my favorite stuff, with this gold glitter, and I've not seen this yet. So we're just gonna give it the little. It's not a nitro, but we're gonna give it the nitro.
Yeah, mix up that glitter, man.
Tilt, just so we get that glitter cascade.
Right.
Hope this doesn't explode.
If you're listening to this on a podcast listening app like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, do me a favor, head on over to YouTube and and check out the Basement Surge, because you can
Let's see. Let's see. Can we get to the focus?
Can we get the
Come on, new camera.
Put
Come
your
on,
hand, put your hand in front of it.
Yeah, I'll do the yeah. Focus here.
No,
Focus
behind
there.
it.
There we go.
Yeah.
I'm not quite getting like glittery just yet. I don't know if it's still like cascading or. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Wait. Yeah. A little bit. Yeah. Wow.
It looks pretty good in person. It's not coming up on the camera too well, but so okay. So the site that and from my glass here. This is not from Duclaw, but the glass is from my friends. And I want to shout out Jack over at Dr. Brew Little's Brewing Company.
Dr. Brew Little's
over in Maple Shade, New Jersey. Very close friend runs that place. Actually, if you listen to the very early episodes of Curmudgeons and Dragons, he was a host for the first, I think, 20 or so episodes.
Oh, wow.
Before when they started working on their expansion for the brewery, that just became his entire life, and he couldn't record with us for an hour a week anymore. So
yeah, I guess that happens. So what's the flavor profile on the beer? Like, what does it say?
What does it say? Let's see what it says. Let's just read the can. Let's go. Let's let their marketing. Let that marketing department earn their money.
Not a sponsor, by the way.
the Pastryarchy, which also love the name. Glitter shines brighter in the dark. Giddy up for this French toast flavor frenzy, complete with the alluring notes of chocolate and spiced cinnamon. A beautifully dark take on the original Unicorn Farts collaboration between Duclaw Brewing Co. and Diablo Donuts, now brewed as a dessert stout with gold edible glitter.
Who the hell is Diablo Donuts?
I'm gonna guess they're out of Maryland. Let's Donuts. Yep. Also, they're in Nottingham, Maryland. So I'm gonna guess they're pretty close to Duclaw.
Wow, awesome. So, what's it taste like?
Let's get to that part now. That's settled a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that twinkle is showing up anymore. Yeah.
You can see the sparkle.
Definitely
That's
see
awesome.
it now. That is cool. Oh, it definitely smells like a breakfast stout. I love stuff like this. Like, they're always so like complicated, but it's all like sweet stuff.
Okay.
So the chocolate's there, the cinnamon's there. Did they say graham cracker?
Wow.
Did they say graham cracker? Something like that in there. It's like, yeah, French toast, they're saying, which might be a combination of like a graham cracker flavor and like a maple.
Wow, I gotta see if I can find that stuff. I want to try it. That sounds really good.
Yeah, I mean, so I got a friend who, this was a gift, so I don't even know where to tell you.
Yeah, I'll find
it.
But
Duclaw's not impossible to find.
Yeah, I'll find it. I'm over here drinking the trailer park of beers. I got Busch Ice.
Yeah.
Busch.
That's a good dad beer.
Yeah.
That's a good dad beer, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't give a shit anymore.
I don't know. It's like I've never been a real fan of like IPAs and the flavored beers and all that stuff, Like I just
IPA is a little too bitter for my taste. And like I forget if we said after recording or if this was just before recording, but the podcast I did before Curmudgeons was called Flight in a Pint, right, where we would travel to the breweries and record on site there. And like even like as many good IPAs as I've had, never really developed a taste for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too harsh. Too much.
Yeah. It
Love
just tastes
stouts.
weird.
Love stouts. I'll take a good stout any day.
I gotta try that. Normally, I don't drink like dark beer. I like light beer.
I love darks.
Yeah.
Porters, stouts, brown ales, red ales. I'll take them. And they got very into sours from doing that show.
Yeah. Well, doing that show, you probably tasted a lot of beer, a lot of different flavors.
I haven't had bad beer in a long time.
All right. Yeah.
Which is also great. It's
You're
like,
lucky, man.
yeah. Not only Dr. Brew Littles, but we're friends with a lot of other brewers and brewery owners. Some of them we've been friends with since before they opened. Some of them we became friends with from doing the show, or just from hanging out at the place and just shaking the right hands. And and a lot of friends that work for these breweries. So anytime I have a get together, people bring beers over, and like I don't drink a whole lot, so there's like constantly good shit in my fridge.
Really? You don't drink? I'd be drinking every day.
I know, and and I think it was a conscious decision not to.
Yeah.
Because I know what I can get. Like, just if you see my D&D shelf and how fast that grew, it's just a generally addictive personality. So
Gotcha. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna stick to like expensive stuff and not like things that'll kill me.
Yes. See, like I have a weakness for scotch. Okay, I love scotch.
Sure.
My go-to scotch is a bottle of 12-year-old Macallan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's like $120, $130 a bottle.
Yeah, and I'll be honest. If I had that and I also tasted a $20 bottle right next to it, couldn't tell you the difference.
Yeah, I could.
My palate, my Scotch palate is not refined.
Yeah, no, I love Scotch. Scotch is my drink.
My beer palate, I'll tell you, I'll tell you beer stuff, but
right.
Yeah, I enjoy whiskeys, but it's more just like, yeah, this is a whiskey.
Yeah, that's a whiskey. Yeah, it burns going down.
Yeah, and the same friends that bring good beer over, most of them are whiskey guys.
Right.
So like, they're mostly like they're beer guys first, but then they also enjoy good whiskey, and they'll bring stuff over and start like explaining things to me. I'm like, this is how my fiance feels when I start talking beer and anything else around her.
Yeah, beer is like the gateway to whiskey.
She's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a beer.
Yeah, tastes like a beer.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really, really good. It's so sweet.
So let's talk about Curmudgeons and Dragons. All right, how did this podcast come about? And by the way, I love the name.
Oh, thank you. I don't remember if that was my idea or not. So the show started as there was a couple original pitches before we even recorded. I knew I wanted to podcast because we were still in pandemic mode, and I needed to do something audio related.
Right.
Something. I was doing okay as a streamer, as in like bringing cameras to a location and like doing a multi-camera live stream shoot.
Yeah.
Mostly with bands. But we get hired by like certain like houses of worship and like local government meetings and that kind of thing, just to stuff that where they couldn't bring people in but still had to do the thing. Yeah. I would come in there with a bunch of cameras and I just knew how to piece it together, and that kept me like just barely afloat when there were no concerts to run. So I knew I needed to be doing some sort of audio stuff or else I was going to go nuts.
I understand that, man.
Yep. That got me into podcasting, and I got involved with the podcasting groups. That's where I met you, and a lot of other very cool people. And so we knew we wanted to do. I was asking people to just pitch me shows, and my co-host Walter is the one who pitched me the idea for the beer podcast. So we started by doing that. I wanted to do some sort of gaming podcast, and we landed on D&D. And one of the original pitches was we were going to do an actual play show, which basically D&D podcasts fall into a couple different categories. The most common being actual play, which as is implied, they actually play on the show. Right. So like your critical roles, your NAD pods, shows like that are actual play.
Yeah. Like Acquisitions Incorporated, stuff like that.
Yeah. So, so I'm still like recovering from I was having my choking fit. I wanted, one of the original pitches was to do an actual play show, but I wanted to do it in a way that was more accessible. Because Critical Role by that point was already like on their third or fourth season, and each episode is 4 hours, and there was like hundreds of episodes.
4 hours,
And, like-
way too long, man.
And it's just like how as a new listener could you possibly catch up to what's going on?
Right.
So one of the ideas was we were just going to do a series of one shots where each episode, possibly 2 episodes, was going to be its own little micro campaign, and you can just come in and out whenever you wanted to.
Okay.
So that was one of the original pitches.
Right.
That turned into, okay, we'll just do like short campaigns, not micro. So like, 5 or 10 episodes, not 1 or 2. I'm like, all right, well, let's just see who's around, who wants to do what. And by this point, we had just met Jack over at Brew Littles, and one of the things we talked about on his episode was he was a big D&D guy. We got to talking about that. Instantly became best friends, and like 2 weeks later, we were back at the brewery recording a couple hours worth of sessions. It was supposed to be like 3-4 episodes worth. We played for like 6 hours.
Wow.
6 hours is nothing. Right? So I go edit the whole thing, and like it was fine. But we're all adults in our 30s and 40s, and never once since then have we all been in the same room.
Okay.
Not a single time. This was like 3 years ago.
Wow.
So 2.5. So it stopped. But we knew scheduling was gonna be a problem. So then the other idea I had was to do something along the lines of there's a few YouTube channels. One is called All Things D&D, one is called Crit Crab, where they take like what's called D&D horror stories or RPG horror stories, and they'll read through this problem game.
Right.
And now on these channels they'll spend a lot of time reading the story, give their little 2 cents at the end for like 2 seconds, and that's it. Where the whole content of the video is the story. I'm like, we can absolutely do a long form podcast about with stuff like this, where we read the story. The story itself is just the information, and then the actual content of the episode, the actual like money part of the episode, is us discussing it. Not only chiming in on the situation itself, but like, has this happened to you? How do we prevent something like this? What do you do in these types of situations? What should the OP do for these stories?
Mm-hmm.
So that was largely what the beginning of the show was, and then that turned into just general roundtable discussions about kind of anything we could think about for D&D. So some of the recurring segments that we came up with, obviously the D&D RPG horror stories was the big one that we still do.
Right.
We were doing like character builds where we were trying to take like pop culture characters and like try to build a character in D&D 5e. I think the first one we did was Wolverine.
Oh wow!
And we took all 4 of us, built a different version of Wolverine. I know some of the better ones we've done. We did the Ninja Turtles.
Nice.
Which was cool because by that point there were 3 hosts, and we each got to pick our favorite character, which was nice because we all kind of landed on our favorite character without having to fight over them. And like, if you listen to the show for 5 seconds, you'll know exactly who picked what.
Like, who's yours, Michelangelo?
I'm Donatello, man.
Donatello.
Donatello. I've been a Donatello kid since I was since the 90s.
Yeah, I hear you. Leonardo's my man. So
see, we had to think about that. So
there's a thing about Leonardo.
So I landed on Donatello. Josie, my co-host, she landed on Raphael.
Yeah, she's
she's like the problem child. Jack, who was the goofball, he was Michelangelo, and then we were going to build as a group. So what we did for that episode, we each built our character off screen, came to the episode with it already built, walked through the build, and then we were going to build the last character together.
Okay.
So we got together and we read through all those. Like, okay, so let's get our last character in here. We're going to pick the most powerful of the bunch, the one everybody loves, the one everybody's here for. And of course, that's Casey Jones. Because anyone who likes Leonardo was a cop.
I'm not a cop. I like Leonardo.
First I ever heard. That's some big cop energy, man.
Yeah, I'm not a narc. Come on, man.
Leonardo's got some strong cop energy in him.
Does he? I don't know, man. I'm a sucker for a good leader. Like, plus my favorite color is blue. Like when I was a kid, blue is my, that's where I just, Leonardo's my favorite. I don't know.
Listen, there's no wrong answer. But so we did the turtle build. One of my favorite ones was the Scooby-Doo gang build. Where I got to build Shaggy as a Fearbog monk.
Oh boy.
We had Daphne as a rogue. Fred was obviously a paladin, and
obviously.
Oh, because paladins are supposed to be like just like insufferable goody two shoes.
I'm sorry. I always play a paladin. When I play D&D, I always run a paladin. Okay?
Sure.
And I'm always. It was funny because the last campaign I ran with my buddy Frank and my wife, we got like a whole family thing going on with this, right? And I ran a neutral paladin, and it like something happened. I can't quite remember. It was a couple of years ago, but something happened during the game, and I wanted to do something that was like out of character. Like I wanted to like beat the crap out of somebody, And,
did he make you go Oathbreaker?
Yeah.
DMs, let paladins have fun, man. Come on.
Right. So I wanted to go a little past my neutral, more into chaotic, and it was like he wouldn't let me.
Your powers don't work anymore. Shut up.
He's like, you neutral, dude. Like, you can't act like that. I was like, but that's what I want to do. Like,
sure. No, so going with like the classic trope of the goody two shoes, annoying, insufferable paladin. We wanted Freddy to be a paladin. Also, paladins have an ability called Lay on Hands, and that's absolutely Freddy.
Yeah, that's gangster.
But but yeah, so the show kind of evolved from there, and we've got a few hosts coming in and out. Justin was the first to go once his schedule didn't allow anymore. Jack went some time after that. Once he started getting busier, we brought on Greg and Jim after that. And kind of like the idea was to have a little bit more revolving door-ish type of feel with the hosts. So like whoever's available, that's just who's on the episode this week. And if you can't make it, you're not on the episode this week.
Well, Jason, I'm just saying, I like D&D. I'm down to play anytime you need somebody.
Well, we don't play on the show, so.
Well, talk D&D, whatever. I'm good. I'm down.
I would love to have you on. If you got a horror story you can tell us. Think about it. Think about one of the worst things that happens during your game. I'll even take that Oathbreaker story you just told me.
Yeah, I'll find out the details on that because I can't quite remember.
Sure. Get a story together. We'll get you on my show. I owe you one.
All right. Awesome.
I owe you a guest spot.
Sweet. You heard him, everybody.
And also, we need content. So
there you go.
We just scheduled for this coming weekend. Not only are we going to record IRL, because usually we record remotely, not unlike this show, but now one of our co-hosts is in North Jersey. I'm in like South Jersey Shore area. Our other host is currently in school in England.
Crap.
So scheduling her to be remote is like a 5-hour difference, and it's a massive pain in the ass for scheduling. Yeah. So we just kind of set up everything at home, and like this is one of the reasons why it's like, hey, listen, if you can make it, you can make it. But it's either that or do the show without Josie, and it's just not going to happen. So, we wanted to do a nice like sit down interview with the owner of the new game store in town that I've been running games at. And they've been getting some good buzz. They've got a good community there. Nice. And our co-host Jim ran game stores for decades. So I wanted them to talk about, not only have they both been playing D&D since day one, but they both ran game stores. And so I just want to just have a good chat with all of them.
Wow, that sounds really interesting.
And we got a few IRL guests coming in, like some of the regulars who also have their own podcasts are going to come in and talk to us while we're there. So it should be kind of cool. We should have some pretty cool episodes coming out. Those should be all releasing during the month of May.
Nice. Well, we are in May.
Well, I got one more to come out that we're sitting on. We're going to record this Sunday. I'm going to get very busy editing, and we'll release those throughout the month.
Sweet. One thing I do have to say about your show is that I love the cover art for you.
Oh yeah,
like who did that? Was that you?
that was drawn up by my tattoo artist. You can see my coffee cup right there. That's that's Matt Dunn. He did my coffee cup and he did my my Snorlax. This is my where is it? This is live slow, die whenever.
Nice.
Very good friend is my tattoo artist. His Instagram is at Matt Made This. Very close friend. Love this guy. And I was like, here's like, you know what I look like? Make me look like a dragon.
Yeah.
Here's a picture of Josie. Here's a picture of Jack.
It's funny because I seen the art and I was like, all right, I know which one is Jason. I know which one's you. And it's a great picture. Like it fits it, I think.
Yeah, he knocked it out of the park with that.
Yeah.
And of course we then you go over to our merch store. We got t-shirts, we got mugs and stuff. Like it's such like a cool like that original art, marketable,
sure,
and like it's recognizable. I put them on stickers and stuff, and like it's just like it was solid branding is what it is.
Yeah.
So big shout to again that's Instagram at Matt Made This.
Yeah, I'll throw it up on the screen in post production.
Yeah, he's one of the guys that travels all over the country. I don't really know exactly where he's at any given point, but at least through the magic of the internet, it's so good to hang out with him. So
Sweet.
just talking to him earlier.
Sweet. So when you actually play D&D like in real life,
Mm-hmm.
Do you run as a DM or do you actually play a character?
So I've got a long-term game that I am a player.
Okay.
Currently playing a Turtle Barbarian, Path of Wild Magic. And that game is like, it's tough to schedule. I mean, it's always tough to schedule, but like it's myself, the DM, and there's 3 players, well now 4 players, and possibly a 5th coming in. But like we're all in our 30s and 40s, and it's just like, I think I'm the only one without kids, and it's just so difficult to get everybody scheduled. And like the older you get, the harder it gets. And I keep hearing like the high school players that come through for some of my games at the store. There's like, oh, I'll never have any time. It's like, you don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Child.
Like
child.
Kid, like if you want to play D&D, kids suck. Like it's just
I will challenge that. Most of the time, yes. And listen, I'll be the first one to tell you kids suck.
The only reason I say that is because of scheduling, like, no, you got to be there, or I can't leave my kid alone. I don't have
kids make it suck for their parents.
Right.
Yes. No, you're absolutely right. I thought you meant playing with the kid sucks.
No.
So the other half of that, so I got the games that I'm playing in, and that happens in real life at my house once a month. Because we were trying to get that game to go off online once every like 2 weeks for like 2 hours at a time, which is like nothing for D&D.
Nothing, yeah.
And like we couldn't even do that. So by making it more difficult, by making everybody come to my house instead of just jumping online,
it was impossible. Yeah.
No, it helped.
Really?
Because now there's some commitment. Now there's like people are setting aside actual real time. If you're canceling an online meeting, it's like, hey, I can't make it to the Zoom call. You're like, oh, everyone else is like a little put out. They're a little that's what I'm looking for. Inconvenienced.
Yeah.
Where like everyone's already at my house, the food's already ordered. Like
right.
And it's like, hey,
don't be an asshole. Come on, show up.
It's like, hey, I'm not coming. It's like, the hell you're not.
Right.
Like, so, so by actually making it more complicated, actually really helped a lot. Plus, like IRL gaming just hits different.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
It just hits different. Now I've got a complicated setup here that I don't have the software up for just now, so I can't show you on this recording. But like, there's like more cameras and stuff, and like I've got a camera just for my dice tower, just so I can have like like a nice full screen of my dice on screen. And it was just we took it seriously, and it was cool, and it was something to look forward to. Yeah. And now that it's at my house, I look forward to it even more. I love hosting. I love when people come over, and this is one more reason for them to come by.
Do you have like a huge table everybody sits at?
I like a normal sized dining room table. I would love to get one of those like very expensive gaming tables.
Oh,
and
sure.
like,
Like with the screen at the,
oh,
at the
absolutely,
tabletop, you know?
absolutely. Well, you can get those as like a standalone thing.
Yeah.
Which I'm actually probably going to pick up soon. But
Oh.
but like no, they're big complicated tables with like everyone's got their dedicated space, and like it's kind of look at like boardgametables.com is a great site for stuff like that.
Right.
But they start at like $2,000.
Yeah, they're expensive.
And like while I'm renting, I don't really feel like doing that. But the second I got my own place, it's the first thing I'm going to buy for myself.
Are you kidding? I recently got into woodworking, and I've been I've been trying to build some stuff, and I literally came across these blueprints on YouTube that are specifically for a D&D gaming table that have like a projector from the ceiling projecting down onto the table.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's not a screen or anything; it's just a projector, and it looks really good. And
listen, if you want to find an affordable way to make the they're basically frames for TVs that'll turn a TV into a battle mat.
Mm-hmm.
If you can find an affordable way to do it, I'd rather buy from you than randoms. So, how much woodworking you want to do? We'll talk later.
Sweet. We'll talk after the show.
All right. So that's the game I'm playing in, and then as a DM, there is a gaming store. It's in Brick, New Jersey, called The Keep, where they I DM games for them.
Okay.
So right now, because of just what I can schedule and what I can commit to, they're all one shots.
Mm.
So which is it's cool. It's one shots are have a different feel than long-term campaigns, but like the one shots, they're very non-committal. They're very new player friendly, which is great. We always have someone. There's always at least one brand new player.
Oh, sure.
Which like some of the veterans are like, okay, we got to slow down for the new player, and I'm like, give me your new players.
Give me the noob.
Please give me your new players. Like let me please give someone an experience and make sure that they are going to be a fan of this hobby.
Yeah.
Because like a bad experience off the bat will just turn them off forever.
Well, sure. Let's not discourage them.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, please give me all your new players because I will make sure they have a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, one shots, like I said, they're non-committal. So like if you make it this month and you don't make it next month, no one cares. It'll just, you miss out, but like you're not missing out on an ongoing thing. Like no one, like you don't need to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And even for like veteran players, I mostly played like marshals and half casters. What if I want to try a warlock this time?
Mm-hmm.
I never played a bard before. Let me try bard.
I hate bards.
You just try stuff.
Yeah.
Bards are low key, kind of the best at everything.
It was funny. Like I had this really low like outlook on bards from the beginning, and then I watched The Witcher on Netflix.
Sure.
And I seen that guy, and I'm like, yeah, all right, my expectations of bard is correct.
Sure. Where you get into problems is like when players start like leaning too much into the class tropes. Where like, okay, I'm a bard, I have to be horny. I'm a barbarian. I'm a barbarian, I have to be an idiot. I'm a paladin, I have to be insufferable.
Yeah.
I'm a rogue, I have to be like an edgelord, like loner in the dark shadows and everything.
Yeah.
And like like the tropes are there for a reason and they're fun for us to make fun of, but like let's not play directly into the worst parts of these classes.
Yeah, I mean, I always played my paladin like royalty, kind of,
Sure.
And but until that guy really pissed me off in the bar, and I wanted to kick his ass, and the DM wouldn't let me. So, but hey,
it was a bar fight. He was gonna.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a bar fight. Yeah,
he was gonna make you go Oathbreaker for a bar fight. Come on.
Yeah. So
so figure out what you need to figure out for that story.
Yeah,
flesh it out a little bit. Come on my show, tell that story. We're gonna go in on Oathbreakers.
But I've always run a paladin. When I first started playing D&D, I used to run a barbarian.
Sure.
Because it was funny because with every like even video games, with every game I used to play that was kind of like this, where you got to choose a class like Diablo. You know, I would choose the warrior class. You know, so when I first started with D&D, you know, I chose the warrior class. I'm like, all right, let's go with something I'm familiar with, and I was like, all right, well, this is more like mindless hack and slash kind of brute kind of, you know, that's how I
How
played
barbarians are.
Yeah.
It's a lot of DPS and not a lot of puzzle solving.
Right. It's not a lot of stealth either, you know. So
no, no. I'm playing a turtle barbarian. He's turtle folk.
Yeah.
And like no stealth.
Right.
Can't wear armor, although he has natural armor, which is great. But it's I kind of it's fun because I have to try to play him stupider than I am. You know, hard it's hard to role play him.
That's gonna be fun, you know. That's gonna be
a
lot of fun.
A little bit until every other player that I'm playing with is like newish.
Yeah.
And like, you know, despite having like a +4 intelligence, are just fucking stupid. And I'm sitting here with the -1, like solving everything. It's like, no, I know how to do this, guys. Like, just kind of follow me.
Right.
I have to do all the diplomacy. Like they're learning. They're learning.
Oh man, but yeah, you know, it's like, and then I got kind of a little tired of the hack and slash, and I wanted to be a little bit of a caster.
Sure.
You know, so I switched over to the paladin.
Paladins are like fighters are all about damage and everything, and like barbarians can have some really crazy damage output. Paladins probably have I was gonna say the most consistent, but that's got to go to ranger. Where like paladins are just like they might be the most explosive.
Yeah.
As far as damage output.
Right.
You hit your first crit and then smite on top of it and just see how many d8s you're gonna roll. And it's just like it just hits different.
Right.
It's just so cool.
Yeah.
There's that moment where you're like, oh, I double these too. Oh, and you get that clacking sound that like let's see, I got a couple dice here. Get that dice ASMR real quick. You get this sound. you just love that sound.
Right. But I haven't played in a long time. I've been trying to get back into it, trying to find a game, but the group I was playing with, the DM, you know, I haven't played with him in a while, so
it's a shame.
Yeah,
it's a damn shame, is what it is.
It is. It really is.
I recommend you find a game.
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
I'm
gonna try. But Jason, you know, a couple of weeks ago, I seen that you posted on Facebook. Did you say, does anybody still play an Ibanez?
I haven't seen an Ibanez electric guitar in a long time. I'm sorry.
And I'm like, ooh, me.
When I was learning guitar in 2000 is when I got my first guitar.
Yeah.
And you know, that's all we ever wanted was an Ibanez. That was like the dream guitar. Right. Also, it was 2000. We were listening to nu metal unironically.
Yeah.
All right. My favorite band in the world was Korn and Limp Bizkit, and like and so yeah, one day I'll afford an Ibanez S series or Ibanez RG 700.
Right.
And I was just like, I don't fucking want an RG 700.
Well, hang on 1 second, because
yeah.
I have an Ibanez.
Yeah, go. Prove it.
Okay. Here we go. So this is the Ibanez is the second guitar that I ever gotten my whole life.
Cool.
Okay. It's like a blood red electric.
Yeah, is that like what's that series called? Like AX or something like that?
I don't know.
What's the bodies? What's the model number?
GAX 70.
Is AX? Okay, yeah. See, this was back when like I couldn't afford any guitars. I was like 15, so like I couldn't get a job and whatever. So we would like, and again, this is 2000. This is like fledgling internet days. So we would get like the musician's friend catalogs and basically read them like they were magazines. And like, I learned a lot about like which models are which and what different series and stuff. So like, yeah, the AX is that body type.
Right.
Right. G is the Geo series. That's like their like more affordably priced stuff, and then the number after that is like specifically which one within that series.
Okay.
So it's the Geo AX.
I never knew that. See, like I just have an Ibanez.
Yep.
And then when I seen you posted that on Facebook, I'm like, yes, I have an Ibanez. Somebody
Right,
wants
right.
to talk about an Ibanez.
Now, also worth noting that like I play like Americana and folky type music.
Right.
And like it's like mixed with punk and stuff like that. Like it's like if like Frank Turner, if you're familiar with Frank Turner, we're like big Frank Turner fans.
Okay.
So it's like a lot of like acoustic punk.
All right.
So like I've not seen a lot of metal guitars in a while, and like the handful of metal bands I know are all like they're all on Gibsons and stuff. I'll see the occasional Iceman, the Ibanez Iceman, super unique body type. And the dude from System of a Down was playing them in the first couple albums.
Okay.
But like I mean, like let me just move my camera over a little bit because I just put this guitar tree up in this room.
Oh,
And like
nice.
so it's like all like,
tree.
it's like all the folky stuff. There's let's see, we got there's an electric and acoustic. That's my American Telly hanging up back there. Then my Taylor's right in the front. There's two banjos. There's two banjos on there because I play more banjo than guitar these days.
Really?
And then yeah, it's like I said, playing Americana stuff.
My whole life, my dad's been playing guitar, and he's got BB King's guitar, the Gibson ES2
335.
335, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got
Lucille.
that one. Yeah. So that's like his baby. Like
Yeah.
that's the only guitar he's ever owned in his whole life.
335 is the only guitar you ever need to own that is more than $2,000.
Right. Yeah. So that's the one.
Once you hit the $2,000 range, beyond that, you're mostly just showing off. Or it's a lot of like cosmetic upgrades that like are cool.
Yeah.
But like you don't like a gigging guitar player doesn't need this. Like you're not going to tour with a $4,000 guitar, unless it's a 335.
Right. Yeah.
Because those are like
it has such a unique sound. I think
it's a full hollow and
Yeah.
like it's made by Gibson. They're fantastic guitars.
Yeah. I want a Les Paul. Like my dream is to get a Les Paul.
Sure.
Yeah.
You can get perfectly fine Les Paul Studio for like $1,000.
Yeah.
800 U's. I've got a Les Paul Studio in the closet there.
Yeah. I still have my very first guitar.
So do I, but not here.
This Jackson. It's a Jackson.
Yeah.
Look at this. I put stickers all over it.
So what was your favorite Pantera album?
I don't like Pantera. This is the back.
I remember my first guitar, and I was like ready to like buy stickers and put it on there.
Yeah.
And like I got talked out of it. That's like do you really like? Are you gonna like these bands in 10 years? I'm like, yeah. And 10 years later, I'm like, no.
And it's funny because it's like I put these stickers on when I got this guitar. I must have been 14, 15.
Sure.
And these are all stickers that I got from like quarter machines and here at the supermarket or whatever.
Yep.
But, like Dragon Ball, the Tick, like DX from wrestling. Like it's
that is stuck in time.
Yeah, it's what was around at the time. It was great. And I tried pulling off the stickers, like trying to refinish it. Like
don't.
Yeah.
It's perfect how it is.
I know.
Just the way you are.
It won't stay in tune. I'm having problems with it.
Well, that'll happen.
Yeah, it's like so freaking old that it just like I think the neck is warped.
Yeah. You can get it fixed. Depends on what you want to invest in it.
Yeah, not that much.
Yeah. I had my first acoustic. The nut cracked on it. Like up by the the 0 fret, and I went to go get it repaired because like it was a gift, and like it's not an amazing guitar, but it's not bad by any means. And it was nice to have in the house as like a practice guitar.
Yeah.
And the guitar is maybe worth $150, maybe. Mm-hmm. And it was going to cost me like $200 to get the to get the new nut, like, cut and set, and other parts need to get fixed along with it. Like the bridge has to get fixed at the same time, and like, and these are by like luthiers that I'm friends with. I know these guys, and like, they're not going to jerk me around. So it was just like, it's like, this guitar's literally not worth that. So like, and I was kind of broke at the time too. I'm like, let me hang on to it for, I'll leave it sitting there broken, and it'll still have the sentimental value. Right. And in a different time when I'm doing better, maybe we'll throw some money at it.
And that's my feeling about the Jackson.
Totally fair.
Yeah, because my wife and I recently went to Guitar Center and picked up a couple guitars, a couple new acoustic guitars. I got acoustic.
Cool.
And I got a new Epiphone.
Nice.
And it's upstairs right now. I should have brought it down, but it's fine. So she's learning how to play like from day one. I've been playing since I'm a teenager, so I'm kind of a little ahead of her. But it's a great guitar. I love the acoustic. Like I've never owned an acoustic. I only have electrics.
Sure.
So I love acoustic sounds.
There was a long time where I like didn't care at all about electric guitars.
Yeah.
I thought they were over. I was playing a lot of acoustic stuff. I still do. My cover band that just recently kind of went different ways. For a while, for the first 10 years of that band, I played bass. And then once I started singing more and we wanted a second guitar player, it made more sense for me to go back to guitar and hire a bass player. So for the first year of that, I only wanted to play acoustic.
Yeah.
So I was either hitting songs that needed acoustic guitars, or just playing the rhythm guitar parts on acoustic, and I was perfectly happy. Then I went kind of 50-50, just acoustic where I needed it, electric where I needed it. And as the main vocalist, it was kind of cool where if there wasn't a second guitar, I could just put the guitar down and sing.
Yeah,
which was fine for me.
Right.
Now I got invited into this Americana type of band. This singer-songwriter around this area. She brought me in as first I auditioned as a bass player, and the songs were cool, and I was having fun playing bass, but I'm like, listen, I got some ideas. You have other people you're trying out? She's like, yeah. I'm like, cool. Take the next good bass player you find, preferably one better than me. I mean, I'm sure
you're not helping yourself, Jason.
I'm sure you'll find several.
Right.
And find someone who really wants to specifically play bass for this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And let me come in as a multi-instrumentalist. So now I'll play guitar on a song or two, but I'm mostly playing banjo. Okay. And now mandolin. And it's just wow. And for me it's just so much more fun to just bring 4 different instruments to a gig. And this song, we'll play mando for this song, banjo for these songs. Yeah. I'll back up the guitar for this one. I started playing concertina. Concertina is the little accordion. And it's cool because I grew up on metal and rock and and such hard stuff, and when I was 15 when I started playing guitar. Yeah. And being 15 in 2000 and a huge Korn fan, there's one very specific type of way you're playing.
Yeah.
And then as I got older and my tastes changed and matured, and I kind of grew out of being yelled at all the time in my music, and 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 nothing against people who dig metal. Metalheads are some of the nicest and realest people I've ever gotten to work with, and I'm saying as a sound engineer, I love when metalheads come into the venue.
Right.
But I don't want to listen to it in my spare time.
Right. I agree.
Where a lot of the acoustic singer songwriters we get coming in, some of them are dicks.
Yeah.
But there's dicks in every genre.
Yeah.
But
I think they'd be a little pretentious,
Some of them, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And so were some metalheads. I will say, I'm not gonna name the band, but I will say the worst. One of the worst people who ever walked into our room was a metal band.
Wow.
And the second worst was a singer-songwriter. So like it's
Okay.
it's not, you know, and we'll talk off the air about who's who.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't. It's not tied to a genre, but I will say what is tied to a genre, at least on a local. This seems to be on a local level. If the band is just hasn't quite left their area yet, they're still like quote unquote local band. They're not signed to anything.
Right.
They're having trouble getting gigs outside of their 20-mile radius.
Yeah.
That level of band. I will say there is a direct correlation between how hard, heavy, and violent the music is to how over the top nice they are.
Really?
The politest bands I've ever met are all hardcore. I owned a recording and rehearsal studio for 4 years before I got into live and concert sound.
Right.
So like I kind of got my start in studios thinking that was going to be my career, realized I fucking hate studios. And I was so much happier as a live guy.
Okay.
Where I have studio friends that think I'm nuts.
Yeah.
For thinking that, and I think they're nuts. We're two people who have like technically the same job title,
Mm-hmm.
and our job involves doing the same thing in kind of different settings.
Just
and
live
we both
and recording. Yeah.
and we both fucking hate the other side. If I never step foot in a studio again, I'll be totally fine.
Really?
And
Wow.
they never want to mix a live show.
Wow.
They both have their own stresses, and you just choose which stress you prefer. And I can't stand their stress. Love my stress. Anyway, so but like so only the rehearsal studio, in this area there's a lot of hardcore.
Yeah.
And like these bands would like these bands are like 19, 20-year-olds that are like would walk in and like shake my hand on the way in,
Mhm.
tell me how good it is to see me after not seeing me for a whole week.
Yeah.
And like these are clients, these aren't like friends. Some of them are friends now just because they were so cool. And once the place closed, I mean, we kept up, and like they would walk in and shake my hand, thank me for even owning the space, and then go in there, like close the door, and I would hear the most angry, violent, just like kick you in the teeth type of music, and then they would come out all smiles.
That's
So
so
we got-
weird.
We got two theories on this.
Okay.
We got narrowed down to two. There's the obvious one where they get out all their rage in the music and they can be cool most of the time.
That makes sense.
The one that makes more sense to me is that they are so pent up from being nice all the time.
That they just
That they-
let it go.
Right. That being nice just stresses them out.
It's their outlet. Yeah.
And it just has to explode for that 2 hours a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, go hug your local hardcore band. I'm sure they're super cuddly.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure they're struggling with something.
They're like they're just consistently the nicest.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Jason. Thank you very much for
Dude, thanks so much for
coming
having
on
me.
today. Oh man,
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, like I had a blast. Like I love D&D, I love music, I love guitars. Like it's such a mix because you have such different talents as far as podcasting and then musical instruments and all that stuff. So
It's all audio stuff. If you're good at one, you can figure out the rest of them.
yeah, I mean I'm pretty decent at podcasting, but I'm pretty shitty at guitar. So I'm not that good.
Those two particular skills are a little more tangential, but
All right, everybody. If you want to follow Jason, head on over to your local podcast listening app. And he's all over the place. I've checked out the website. Curmudgeons and Dragons podcast. Okay, go check it out. Hit that subscribe button because if you love D&D, he's got some great stuff going on over there. Man, the cover art. I can't get over the cover art. I loved it. Like, seriously.
Well, if you subscribe, you get to see it all the time. So
Yeah. Hey, hit that subscribe button. Like, follow him all over his socials. Like, stalk this guy. You need to. He's putting out some great content. All right,
Appreciate
everybody. If you want more episodes of the Basement Surge, I would normally tell you to head over to the official website, but things have kind of changed now. So there are links down in the show notes that head on over to like a Zap page that have all the links to everything we do. Our official website, all of our socials, the Facebook, the Twitter, and the Instagram. And the links to listen to the shows on specific platforms. So go check it out. You can listen to all the shows over there. Head on over to the official website to read the blog, to see what's coming out of the basement. And stay tuned for future episodes. We have a lot of exciting things coming. Jason, thank you very much for joining me today.
Don't you dare cut that music, man. I'm vibing.
Are you vibing? You like it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mine. I own it.
Nice.
Like, I have the license. You can't use
nice. Oh, you did it right. Okay, cool.
it. Yeah.
This ain't some Kevin McLeod free thing that every other podcaster uses.
Yeah, man. No. I
And
own
real podcasters know who Kevin McLeod is.
this is mine. I
Yeah.
have a license. See you next week, everybody.
Let's go. Turn up the volume. From the basement of the Empire State, this is the Basement Surge.
3, 2,